You're listening to the Morphology Podcast. Thanks for tuning into the Morphology Podcast, aka Murph here to share interviews about biking experiences from cyclists who have pedaled to places all over. Each week, we will get to know new people and explore new destinations to ride your bike. As you listen to these adventures, you may wonder, why haven't I done that yet? This week, meet Julie and Matt. Julie is the founder of a nonprofit organization called World Ride that works with women who are interested in learning how to mountain bike, but might not have all the resources to do so. World Ride works with local partners in various locations across the world. These partners help to recruit more women into the mountain biking community, assist in training guides, and also employ certified guides. One of these partners is Matt, the founder of Old Town Outfitters, which is a top-rated outdoor adventure tour company in Guatemala. Oh, and if you're listening to this episode in November or December of 2022, you can participate in the Morphology 200-mile Winter Challenge, especially if you need some inspiration to stay active once cold weather moves in. Just head over to the Morphology Podcast website, www.morphologypodcast.com, and click the menu tab, Find 200-Mile Winter Challenge. So here's our interview. Well, I would like to welcome two special guests to the show today. We have Julie and Matt. Hey guys, how's it going?
Great, how are you?
I'm really good. And I know Matt is coming to us from all the way in Guatemala. And Julie, where are you located?
I live in Moab, Utah.
And you're on the podcast. Julie is the founder of a nonprofit organization called World Ride, which we're going to learn about in a few minutes. And then Matt is the founder and owner of a business called Old Town Outfitters. So this is going to be a fun podcast episode. Julie, I'll start with you. Where do you live as far as, you said Moab, Utah. What's it like there as far as cycling? I'm assuming if you're in Moab, you probably are a fan of mountain biking, but tell us a little bit about where you live.
Yeah, mountain biking is just such a part of the culture here in Moab.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the outdoors in general, it's such a great place. The community here is really great for mountain biking. Pretty much everybody here exclusively mountain bikes. There's a little bit of road riding, a little bit of gravel riding, but most people are here for the mountain biking. And it's also a place that is attracts a lot of tourists. So we get a lot of people coming throughout the year to mountain bike and just explore the area.
Yeah, back in 2020, I believe, I did a bike adventure called the San Juan Mountain Hut to Hut, and we ended in Moab. So I got to experience how beautiful it is there, and then also I got to experience a sandstorm and a huge black cloud that rained crazy rain, but it was only for like 5 minutes. So I have a lot of good memories of Moab.
That's great. Yeah, the weather here can be unpredictable at times.
Yeah. It's so beautiful though. That definitely makes up for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Matt, how about you? Spoiler alert, I told everybody where you are, but will you give us an idea of what it's like where you live as far as cycling culture?
Absolutely. So, yep, I live in Antigua, Guatemala. I've been here since the late 90s. The mountain bike and the cycling culture in general has kind of been definitely on the rise over the past 2 decades since I've been in Guatemala. Certainly when I was first here, I would oftentimes be the only person out on mountain bikes, and, out in the woods and riding. And over time, I've definitely seen the culture grow. There's a very big kind of enduro and cross-country mountain bike scene. There's a big road scene as well. There's a 15-day mountain bike stage race a road race that is hosted here in Guatemala. And there's multiple stage race mountain bike races these days. And so the culture is definitely on the rise and booming. And we're just happy to kind of be here and be a part of it. It's great.
And I have never been to Guatemala, and I'm just really not familiar with the terrain. But when you say you're out mountain biking, are you on like man made trails? Are you on groomed trails? Or are you just exploring the mountains on your own?
These days, a little bit of both. It's still by and large just trails that are out there that are naturally out in the woods. Guatemala's a very agricultural country, so a lot of the footpaths that are here exist because of farmers going to field, merchants going from village to village, taking their livestock out or going into the out into the woods looking for firewood or otherwise. In the past maybe decade, there's been a little bit of a recent push into man-made mountain bike parks. We helped build one that's on the backside of one of the volcanoes just outside of our town, Antigua. And then now there's another man-made mountain bike park in our region. There's a couple in Guatemala City.
Mm.
So you're definitely starting to see more and more kind of man-made mountain bike parks pop up. But
Mm-hmm.
by and large, the riding that we do is mainly all out there, just exploring the mountains and the volcanoes and the hills nearby. And we've hiked our bike out of every ravine and dead end trail to really kind of figure out where we're going and how to link all these trails together. It's been kind of a labor of love.
And it says a lot about that labor of love when you are starting to see man made structures, because that tells you that you've got a lot more people who want to experience what you've been experiencing. So that's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then, Julie, back to you. I want to learn a little bit more about what World Ride is. But quickly, before we get into that, I know I read, as far as your background goes, that you are or have been really big into mountain biking from all different aspects. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I started mountain biking probably 11 or 12 years ago. Did some road biking before that, but yeah, I just kind of always wanted to be out on trails and got into mountain biking through some really good friends in the Tucson area,
Mm.
and just had yeah, a great group of ladies that helped me get into the sport. And um, since then, I've done quite a few different things within mountain biking. The reason I moved to Moab was to guide,
Mm.
so I still do a little bit of guiding, and I'm also a certified mountain bike skills coach. So I've been coaching for probably 6 or 7 years as well.
That's impressive. I went to Whitefish Mountain to a mountain bike retreat where I got to experience firsthand what you would be doing as a guide and someone who's teaching me basic skills. And oh my, I learned a ton, but I'm sure that some of those trainers were like, oh my gosh, when is this girl going to learn to trust her bike?
No, it's so fun. I love coaching. I love helping people just kind of learn the how and the why of, you know, certain aspects of mountain biking and
Yeah.
just gain that confidence. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
And that's a perfect segue into World Ride. Give us just give us the scoop on what World Ride is.
Yeah. So World Ride is a 501c3 nonprofit that works to empower women globally through mountain biking. So we work to help just develop connection and community with mountain biking, as well as help women build confidence through the sport. We work in Guatemala. We also work in Nepal, Peru, Botswana, and Lesotho with local women to help get them out on mountain bikes.
And how do you find women who want to be empowered by mountain bike? Like, it seems like not everybody would want to try and experience that. So how are you connecting it?
Yeah, each place has been a little bit different with how we've connected with the local communities there. But really, most of the places it's been through some of our amazing local partners, like Matt and Old
Mm-hmm.
Town Outfitters, that kind of know the community, know the scene, and know some women that are either mountain biking already or are interested in, learning how to mountain bike.
Oh, that is so awesome. And you mentioned Guatemala, but what other
Hmm.
locations are you part of?
We started in Nepal.
Mm.
That was the first spot, and then we expanded to Guatemala, and we also now work in Peru, Lesotho, and Botswana.
Wow. And do you have any like amazing stories about, this woman decided to get out there and mountain bike and now she's blah blah blah.
Oh my gosh, in each place, yes, for sure. Uh, I could go on for a while
Yeah.
telling all the stories of all the amazing women. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, just talking to each woman in all the places that we work, and just kind of hearing the stories. Like, it's pretty amazing that most say like very similar things about mountain biking. That it gives them this freedom and
Hmm.
this confidence that they just don't get otherwise. Um, I think that's one of the coolest things is to see this common thread that, you know, almost every woman that I've worked with, says the exact same thing about how mountain biking has changed their life.
Mm. That is so impressive. And then, okay, I want to get into how both you and Matt have decided to partner up. But before that, Matt, hopefully you're still there.
I'm still here.
Yeah, tell us about your background.
My background, is similar to Julie's. I've, kind of grown up on mountain bikes. I mean, I've raced BMX bikes as a kid and was always encouraged to get out and explore, local surroundings. And largely that was done on a bike. And I think I bought my first mountain bike when I was 14, which would have been, 25 years ago. And have been riding mountain bikes ever since. And,
Yeah.
opened up Old Town Outfitters at the end of 1998 with the idea to get people out on mountain bikes, in Guatemala and kind of help people discover the riches that Guatemala has to offer via, the mountain bike. And, I've been riding ever since. I've done, similar to Julie, I've done some of these skills courses. I've been through level one professional mountain bike instructors association course, mainly just to make myself a better guide. I haven't really gotten into the skills coaching side of it, but really just wanted to be able to, help explain and be a better, coach while out on tour and help people really benefit from being out on the bike and learning those skills. But yeah, so I've been in Guatemala since the late '90s riding mountain bikes, and it's really taken me to a lot of places, and everything that I have kind of today has all come out of getting on a bike and riding mountain bikes, the communities, and people I know, the places where we live and things to do. It all kind of comes from this culture that was started on a mountain bike.
Wow. Well, I can tell you right now, I would love to go mountain biking with one or both of you to enjoy myself, but also to learn some good tips. I think I'd come out of it a better biker for sure. So, Matt, will you kind of, you mentioned Old Town Outfitters. Tell us what exactly that is and what you offer.
Sure. So Old Town Outfitters is we're kind of a full service mountain bike touring company. We adventure travel. So we kind of we started as a pretty solely just mountain biking, but then quickly branched out into other things, like hiking, and we do rock climbing trips and sea kayaking and volcano summits and overnight
Mm.
trekking and backpacking, that sort of thing. But our passion still kind of truly lies on the mountain bike front.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing that since, like I said, the end of 1998. Primarily helping foreigners and travelers, kind of get into Guatemala and find all the interesting little nooks and crannies and fun places to go, and try to weave that into, the cultural side of what's happened and the vibrance that Guatemala has to offer. And then, during the pandemic, we made a little bit of a shift and started working and focusing a little bit more internally, as kind of, that was what was going on internationally, tourism wise. There just wasn't a whole lot of international travel. So
Mm-hmm.
now we're kind of, working with locals a lot more too, and creating trips a little bit more focused on the local sector as well. But largely, again, still working with trips sold to travelers abroad.
Okay, so it seems pretty obvious to me why you two have decided to collaborate, but do you, either one of you, want to kind of give us an idea how that came to be, where World Ride and Old Town Outfitters decided to partner up?
Sure, I can talk a little bit about that. I think it was, yeah, the beginning of 2019. Um,
Yep.
I had actually traveled to Guatemala with a friend. She had kind of invited me last minute on the trip, and I said, sure, why not? And yeah, I got to join and just see the place and explore. And it was on that trip that I started talking to Matt and Chris about the work that I had been doing in Nepal with World Ride.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, let's do that here. There seemed to be, the opportunity to be able to do it. And yeah, we kind of started working on things and did our first trip there later that year, toward the end of 2019.
So then, what does that look like for the women who are interested in becoming part of World Ride? Like, are you training them all the skills and then saying, hey, after so many times of training, we're going to go to Guatemala and experience what it's like there? Or how does it work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the places that we work with local women in each place and help to support some women in becoming mountain bike guides.
Mm.
Um, so Matt has been awesome and helped us uh, to identify a female guide there, Krista, who's amazing, and we helped kind of support some of her training to become a mountain bike guide. We also have purchased bikes that Old Town helps us to store and maintain.
Mm.
And those bikes are like our bike library bikes that women can borrow and just try out mountain biking. And it's been really cool to see in Guatemala, like the women that have been coming on these weekly group rides. Some of them have, fallen in love with mountain biking, saved up their money, bought their own bike. So then it kind of opens the door for more women to try out mountain biking with the bike library bikes. So yeah, so in each place that we work, we try to focus as much on developing a bike library that women can borrow from,
Mm-hmm.
helping to train some female guides. We're starting to work now with the Professional Mountain Bike Instructor Association, PMBIA, to host mountain bike skills certification
Oh,
courses in
cool.
each
Yeah.
place that we work, so that some of the locals can actually become certified, the same certification that Matt and I have,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to teach mountain bike skills, to help get even more people into the sport safely and with proper skill. So um, yeah, those are kind of some of the things that we do in each place.
And the example you used where you identified a guide there in Guatemala,
Hmm.
explain, and maybe Matt would explain this, either one of you, but what exactly does she do as a guide? Like, are you taking, or just let me just ask it that way. What exactly is she doing as a guide?
Sure. So I'll take that one. So we work with one of our guides is Krista, and she came to us um, a year ago or more, and was interested to get it. Wanted to be a guide, had not really had any kind of formal guide experience or training. Certainly did not have much mountain bike guide experience, or even just mountain bike experience. And she picked up very quickly that that was something that Old Town Outfitters does a lot of. We run a lot of mountain bike tours. So she was really interested to get more bike skills and to get a bike. And so we, working with Julie, she mentioned the bike library, so we had bikes set aside that Kristen could use. We would then give her guide training, so anything from first aid courses to English, then to just other general kind of guide training classes, and she would follow guides and shadow guides and learn to work, all the different trips that we do, whether it be on foot or on a bike,
Mm-hmm.
um, and kind of really gain some experience. And then to the point where she's really taken to the mountain bike, and again with the support that World Ride has given, and just the community. When the World Ride groups come down, she's one of the lead guides on the tour. she's created her own little weekly outings or adventures with Krista, where she has a pretty solid crew of girls. It's really cool to see that meet up on Saturday mornings and they go out on a big group ride. Oftentimes, the entire bike library has been checked out at that point,
Oh,
and like
cool.
Julia said, people have pulled together their own money to buy mountain bikes, and I know that mountain biking is an expensive sport to get into. So having the bike library there has been crucial to get people to feel comfortable on a bike, to know that that is something they want to lay out the investment for and to save. It's just it can be such a large barrier to entry, just the price of bikes and access to gear and access to know-how and where to go and all that sort of thing. Krista, through the support of World Ride and training through Old Town, has really been able to kind of foster this group of girls and get them out there. And it's super supportive. It's really fun to see these girls come out, some on our bikes, some that once used, when I say our bikes, the library bikes, that have used those bikes to determine they want to save for their own, and it's really evolved. And a lot of that just came out of time with Krista through support with World Ride to get her the training, the confidence, the time on a bike, just being out, shadowing guides, learning mechanic side, learning the bike handling side,
Mm-hmm.
learning English first aid. And that's been something that we've been working with her in country. Julia supported through the World Ride and other folks that are associated with World Ride, people who come down on the tours. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of see her grow as a guide.
Super empowering as far as all of those skills. You know what I mean? Like, becoming a guide, becoming certified in mountain biking skills, being able to go out and show other people, learning English. Like, there's so many different aspects to what you all are doing there. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
And Julie, what would you say your focus is going forward as far as World Ride?
I mean, one of the big things that we're focusing on, because it's such a big part of our mission, is we run trips in all of the places that we work in.
Mm.
Um, and we've kind of had to put those on the back burner the past few years for reasons that
Right.
everyone will understand.
Right.
um, but it's really, I think, one of the best ways to support World Ride is you get to go and visit these amazing places that we work in, get to meet the women firsthand, like Krista, who we've helped to train as guides, um, and just kind of get to experience what World Ride is all about. So yeah, we're really focused on all of our trips for the end of 2022 and into 2023, just to give people that opportunity to get to go and see these places and meet the women that we work with.
Right. And hopefully you get to be like there going to all these trips too, right, Julie?
I go on some of them.
Oh.
They're yeah. They're we really want our trips to be as much about the women that we work with as possible. So,
Yeah.
like Krista's our guide. I like to go and support some trips and be there for certain projects and things, but yeah, I don't think I could go on all of our trips.
Right. Well, and that's a good sign that your business is growing when you can say that we have so many trips, I can't go to all of them.
Yeah, for sure. It's been really cool to
Good
see.
problem to have.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
problem to have. Yeah. And Matt, besides working with World Ride, Old Time Old Town Outfitters, if someone like me is like, I'm coming to Guatemala and I would like to be part of, some sort of ride, that's definitely something that you offer as well, right?
Absolutely. So we have a full service website, and we're a full service inbound tour operator. So we've got an online calendar that you can get to from our website, which is adventureguatemala.com, which lays out a lot of the upcoming tours that we have.
Mm-hmm.
We oftentimes have scheduled, a week ride that'll go on this date. You can certainly get in touch with us. We can pull together any kind of custom logistics, mountain bike ride. And we have any number of tours on the website that people can choose from.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you were interested to come to Guatemala and to ride and we're not able to join on to a World Ride trip, then we could certainly pull logistics together, outside of any operator that we would work with and run this trip ourselves. And a cool thing is we have a couple upcoming trips with Julie that are just custom women, women who have wanted a custom tour who have come through Julie that are not going to be able to necessarily join on to an existing World Ride tour date.
Oh, okay.
And working with World Ride, we're able to funnel those girls in and bring them to Guatemala or add on to an existing trip they have and get them out with Krista, get them on the mountain bike, show them a little bit about what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just another really cool way to be able to get people out and get people on bikes.
Excellent. And, you both have mentioned that you have events on the calendar for 2023. I don't know if there's anything you want to point out or if you just want to kind of tell us a specific place to go on a website or social media that we can learn more.
I think one of the cool things that we've been working on, so on our first trip in the end of 2019, we helped. So we worked with Matt in Old Town on hosting an event called a Travessia, and we had kind of this big community ride, and we had about 60 ladies join.
Wow.
On that, and it was just really cool. Only women. I don't think there had ever been any that had been done that was just for women.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on planning another one of those in early 2023 in January. And World Ride has a trip that we do, and that's we kind of add this bonus day on of the Travessia. So it's our standard week-long trip with this little bonus ride that you get to do with all of the women. So that's a fun event that we have coming up. And one thing I did want to mention too is that our trips are open to anyone, so they're not just women specific. They're open to men and women alike. So
okay. And Julie, you are a nonprofit organization, so you depend on
mm-hmm.
donations, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
So how can somebody listening to this podcast support you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can support World Ride. I mean, one of the best ways is to go on a trip because then you get to do something fun as well.
Yeah.
And it supports, our local guides and the local community and whatnot too. So if not, you can donate through our website. All donations through our website are all tax deductible.
Mm-hmm.
We also host some different sweepstakes throughout the year with some of our partners. We have movie night events. We're doing one in a couple weeks in Tucson, Arizona. And yeah, we do other events and things throughout the year that are all on our website.
And what is that website?
It's www.world-ride.com.
Cool. And I will also put that in the show notes. And how about you, Matt? Tell us more about Old Town Outfitters and how we can become part of it.
Sure. I'd first like to mention that Julie touched on her movie nights. I think those have been phenomenal, and I would highly encourage anyone who wants to know what's going on and kind of learn more about what they're doing to watch and sign up for those movie nights. I know that in Guatemala, you'll get our kind of community, Krista and our community of riders together. We'll all go to someone's house and watch it together. It's been a lot of fun. I think that's a fantastic way to get involved. So, Julie, thanks for doing those. It's been great.
Yeah.
Old Town Outfitters, we can be reached at adventureguatemala.com. We have online calendars there that list out what we're doing, and there's any number of tours on our website. So we're really easy to get in touch with, and we've got Instagram and Facebook too. Also, those are Old Town Outfitters, are the name of both of those accounts. But yeah, I encourage you to come on, stop by the website, see what we're doing. If there's something that doesn't line up with a date that you're interested in, we're obviously able to pull together a number of custom logistics for folks. But yeah, happy to help facilitate people to come down to Guatemala and get involved and see what's going on and join the super vibrant culture and the growing cycling community and certainly all the work that World Ride has done.
I think both organizations, you guys are offering, cyclists out there a really unique experience to, go someplace that's not maybe a place that their friends and family have been to. I mean, it's just really, really cool. So appreciate both of you coming on the podcast and talking about both Old Town Outfitters and World Ride. And
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thanks
much for having us.
us.
It's been fun.
Well, that's it for this week. A few great deals to send your way. Use code MURFOLOGY at hammerhead.io to get a free heart rate monitor with your crew, too. And a shout out to Lily Trotter's compression socks. Use code MURFOLOGY to get 20% off your purchase of the best compression socks. Also use code PRIMALMURPH for 20% off your Primal Wear cycling gear at primalwear.com. Of course, email me at murphologypodcast@gmail.com if you have a topic or the name of a cyclist you find interesting. Support my podcast at patreon.com/murphology and visit my Facebook, Instagram, and website for daily entertainment. I have more great episodes in the pipeline, so I hope you continue to be a Murphology podcast listener.